I said, hey, what's up? Hello, this is Clocktower puzzle number 11. False is the new black, based off Sex and Violets. We are the clockmaker, and we are dealing with some madness in this town. Not only that, but a Vortox is flipping all our information. Can you figure out the evil team? Pause the video if you want to solve it yourself, but otherwise, let's jump right in. So first, important information. One demon, Vortox, and one minion, cerenovus or pit-hag. Okay. Let's see. Anything else? Minions act before the demon at night. We already know that. So one outsider, a mutant or sweetheart, is in play. The mutant complies with madness, claiming one townsfolk role and providing arbitrary info. And the mutant will always reveal their true role after they die. Okay. Players targeted by the cerenovus provide arbitrary information until the effect ends or changes, at which point they reveal the cerenovus has targeted them. Okay. All other good players truthfully report the role and the information they are shown. You are not evil or the mutant. Yes, you are the clockmaker. Who is the demon and who is the minion? Okay. So first things first, we know it's a Vortox game, meaning all information is false. So that is really important going in. And now we need to consider something. Looking at the current state of the game, there are only 4 Vortox candidates, right? Matthew, Aophi, Hannah, Sarah. Aophi pops up in so many of these puzzles and I still can't pronounce that name. It's so funny. So I think that is the best way to solve this particular puzzle, is going one by one with the possible demon candidates. So we're going to go ahead and just start with Matthew. This is how I would go about this puzzle. So Matthew is going to be our Vortox in this situation. So we can go ahead and ignore all information from Matthew. But we're kind of like, okay, where do we go from here? Let's go through everyone's information and see what to make of it. So, for example, Hannah, on day 1, I asked if 1 + 1 = 2 and was told no. So this would be correct in a Vortox world. However, this doesn't mean Hannah is not a minion or a mutant or just good. Like, this doesn't confirm anything. That is the case with with correct information in this case. But if you look at Anna, when I died, I learned that either Matthew or Hannah is the demon. That is just provably incorrect information. While yes, this is true that Matthew is the Vortox, is the demon, in a Vortox game, Anna would not learn that Matthew is the demon. So what does that mean for what Anna is? Well, Anna is either a mutant, a minion, or a cerenovus locked dead player. Now, we're going to go ahead and rule out mutant, because if Anna was the mutant, well, she would have already revealed her true role after dying, as we see down here. So Anna cannot be the mutant. So Anna is either evil or cerenovus locked. If we go with the cerenovus locked theory, boom, that means the cerenovus is somewhere else. It's going to be one of these 3 alive. We can go ahead and then presume that Tom cannot be evil because the cerenovus is alive, and if Anna's still claiming Sage and hasn't broken cerenovus madness, then that means Tom has to be the sweetheart, meaning we don't have a mutant. This means our information adds up in a Vortox world we're not assuming Anna's a minion here. Let's see. Going through Sarah's information, Matthew's cerenovus or seamstress. Yeah, Vortox or mutant. Yeah, so all of these would be false in this world because Matthew is the Vortox, and we already have proven that there is no mutant, and we know who the Vortox is in this situation. This doesn't mean Sarah can't be the cerenovus. We do know there's no pit-hag, though. That much is certain. Hannah can also be the cerenovus. Aophi can also be the cerenovus, right? One thing to note, though, is Aophi picked Matthew and nothing happened. So Aophi specifically has to be the cerenovus, who is Sarah locking Anna. So Anna's good, giving arbitrary information as a sage. Sarah's good. That adds up. We are a little bit of a sticky situation. So Hannah would be good. Sully would be good, who's Snake Charm Sarah, and Sarah was not the demon, as we know. But the issue is our information. The demon sits 2 steps away from the minion. This is true, but since it's a Vortox game, that means this is wrong, meaning, and we're out of, like, issues here in terms of, because we know we're not cerenovus locked, and we know we're not the mutant. There's no poisoning. We couldn't be drunk from the sweetheart because we got our information immediately. Therefore, this world is just not possible because of our information. So Anna is not cerenovus locked. So let's go back a bit. So what if Anna is the minion? Okay, if Anna can be the minion, Tom is then the sweetheart, because otherwise Tom has no reason to be lying. Hannah has true info. Our info adds up in a Vortox game. Sarah's info adds up in a Vortox game. Sola's info adds up in a Vortox game. And Aophi picking Matthew, that's the big issue. But if Sola here picked Philosopher and Snake Charm, or Philosopher Snake Charmer, then that would drunk Aophi. The only issue here with this world is Sola was executed on day 2. Matthew was checked on night 3. So Sola and the Philosopher drunk was actually worn off by night 3 when Matthew was checked. So what about Tom the sweetheart? Maybe that poisoned Snake Charmer. Only issue is Snake Charmer goes before sweetheart in night order. So Aophi would have picked and then would have been made drunk by Tom. So, as a result, Aophi's information of picking Matthew is incorrect, and this world is also wrong. Meaning, in case you haven't put it together, Matthew cannot be the demon, because Anna's information does not line up with being a minion or cerenovus locked. So we know Matthew is not the demon. Doesn't confirm Matthew is, a townsfolk. Could still be the mutant or the minion. But we'll move on because we're not testing Matthew. We're testing everyone to be the demon. So going off of Anna's information, let's also confirm Hannah. Hannah is the other person named here. So again, if Anna was going to be the minion, the issue is our information is true in this situation. So that is immediately ruled out. So if Anna is a good player that is cerenovus locked, which is the other possibility, then we have to assume the cerenovus is Matthew, because Matthew's claiming a bunch of random garbage. And then if Sola picked a Snake Charmer, then that means Aophi could have been actually drunken by Sola on the night that Aophi picked Hannah. And of course, our information now lines up because that is 1, 2, 3 steps away from the demon. However, now we have to look at Sarah. While Vortox and mutant ones or whatever, Sarah saw Matthew as a cerenovus, which is impossible on night 1. Because Matthew is indeed the cerenovus in this world, Sarah locking Anna. However, that is true information in a Vortox game, therefore is wrong, and there's nothing else that could make Sarah wrong here. Therefore, this world is impossible. Hannah cannot be your demon. So that leaves us with 2 demon candidates, Sarah and Aophi. Aophi will be the next one we go with. We'll go right back into clockwise, whatever. So Aophi's the demon in this world. Now, where do we go from here? Well, we still know our information is just true, like genuine information. So the demon sits 2 steps from the minion. 1, 2, 1, 2. So me and Matthew are clear from being the minion. Matthew then has to have a reason for his information. He's either the mutant or the cerenovus. If we assume or he's telling the truth about being cerenovus locked or pit-hagged. If he's the mutant, Tom has to be the minion. Meaning, well, there's now an issue, though. Sarah saw Aophi as a Vortox or mutant. Aophi is the Vortox, but if our minion is dead and the mutant is over here, why is Sarah getting truthful information? Therefore, this world is wrong. Matthew cannot be the mutant in an Aophi demon world. That's okay, though. What if Matthew is something like the cerenovus or the pit-hag? Well, again, clockmaker info says that is wrong. So Matthew just has to be good in this world. Sure. Okay, then what's going on with Sarah? Sarah could be the mutant or the evil player. If Sarah is the mutant, then that means Tom has to be evil, who was killed on night 3 by his own demon. Sad. Sarah is making up BS information. It's arbitrary. Hannah has truthful information. Anna has truthful information. And Sola also has truthful information. So what is the issue at hand here? Well, the reason this is wrong is because what is going on with Matthew, right? I was a seamstress who learned on night 1 that Aophi and Tom are the same alignment. Sure, which is true, by the way, meaning that is wrong info in a Vortox game, but maybe Matthew was cerenovus mad on night 1. I became the artist on night 2. I asked if you were the clockmaker on day 2 and was told yes. So again, another case of truthful information. This just isn't possible with our current knowledge, especially because Matthew has neither claimed being pit-hagged, which I guess he wouldn't, but more specifically, he hasn't claimed he got cerenovus mad. So if he's not cerenovus mad and he was actually pit-hagged, but he got truthful information of Vortox game after getting pit-hagged and before getting pit-hagged, it doesn't add up. It doesn't add up. So this world cannot be correct because of Matthew's information. So, what if Matthew is good and we tried the Sarah as the outsider, but what if Sarah is the minion? That means Tom is confirmably the outsider. Anna, information checks out in a Vortox. Hannah, information checks out in a Vortox. Sola, information checks out in a Vortox. So really, that just leaves us with Matthew again. What's going on with Matthew? I was the seamstress who on night 1 learned that Aophi and Tom are the same alignment. Well, that is false now. So we got that going. So I became the artist on night 2. So very likely he was either pit-hagged or cerenovus locked on night 2. I asked if you were the clockmaker on day 2 and was told yes. Because that can't be true, he wasn't pit-hagged, but could he have been cerenovus locked? Yes. He got cerenovused on night 2, told he was the clockmaker. Night 3, he hasn't revealed anything. He's either still mad as the artist or we just haven't gotten far enough into the game to give him a storyteller or to give him a chance to claim, hey, I was Sarah mad, by the way. Ha ha ha. Anyways, the point is, yes, this is actually the correct world. Aophi is your Vortox. Sarah is your cerenovus who has made Matthew Sarah mad. So who's Sarah mad on night 1? Possibly just Sarah herself as the dreamer. Batam is our sweetheart. Anna, Sola, and us are all good players with information that lines up in a Vortox game. Same with Hannah. Who is the drunk from the sweetheart? Who cares? It doesn't matter because it's an artisan seamstress left. Presumably Matthew was originally a seamstress. And yeah, that is the correct conclusion of this puzzle. We don't even have to check Sarah because I'm guarantee you that will be wrong. Thanks for watching, and if you like this puzzle, then make sure you watch my last one, which was a really tricky trouble brewing puzzle. Good luck.